have the next guest speaker, Deacon Dr. Paul. Oh, sorry. Okay, Dr. Ifeoluwapo Oyebola Ashikin Olorimoye.
Standing on existing protocol, I'd like to welcome you all to this amazing meeting, the Beacons Annual General Meeting 2024. And my name is Beacon Dr. Ifeoluwapo Sir Oyebola Ashikin Olorimoye. Okay, so I'm not here to give a lecture. What I want to do is to remind us of what we are, what we're supposed to be. This is what I'm going to do in a very few short minutes, because we're here to marry, so let's not make it so serious, right? Okay, so illuminating pathways to excellence. Right. Now this gathering reaffirms our commitment to adding value to humanity. And what are our values? Unity, possibility, excellence, and commitment. These are our values. Next slide. The power of unity. Unity is our greatest strength. And this is rightly so, because unity is defined as the coming together of individuals or groups to achieve a shared purpose or goal. It represents harmony in diversity. Harmony in diversity, where differences in beliefs, backgrounds, and ideas are respected and efforts are aligned towards a common objective. I want to use the analogy of a bundle of sticks or a broomstick. One broomstick is easily breakable, right? True or false? But if you put a bunch, like a broom, together, can you break it? Do you find it easy to even bend it? So that's what unity is like. When we're together as a team, which I see a lot, I've seen since we got here yesterday, we are very, very powerful. Next slide. Now, these are manifestations of unity that should be seen, or we are seen among us. First of all, when we're united, we have a shared vision. That's the first thing that unity is supposed to do for us as a group. Even though he is Yoruba and Igbo, I live in Nigeria, he's from the US, Canada. Because we're uniting, that unity brings about a shared vision. That's the manifestation. Beyond that, when we're united, everyone is included in the decision-making process, in the end result. Inclusivity. That is very, very important. Let's move on. Mutual support. I want to thank the organizers of this AGM, because that is one huge area where you guys really surprised and surpassed. That's a lot of people are here is because we mutually supported ourselves, and that's very good. Now, conflict resolution. You see, unity does not mean that there will not be conflict. But what is most important is that because we're united, we always find a way to go back to number one. What is number one? Shared vision. That is the overall, followed by the fact that we include ourselves. There's mutual support. We resolve conflicts, and then we strategize, of course. Next slide. Now, I use this as an example. Nigeria's journey to independence in 1960 is a very powerful example of unity, overcoming adversity. Nigeria, we have different people, different tribes, different ideologies. They came together to form what we have now. And in reality, it's still that coming together that is keeping what we have now, true or false. The minute we lose the shared vision of a Nigeria, then Nigeria ceases to be, true or false. That's very true. Let's move on, sir. So, leadership and illumination. Beacons and lighthouses, guiding others to safe shores. This is synonymous to leadership. As a beacon, you're expected to be about influence, responsibility, and empowering others. Now, there are practical initiatives that can come under illumination and leadership, some of which you're already doing. Beacons of knowledge, mentorship programs, health outreaches. Now, I have styled this in two directions because I am an educator, education manager by virtue of the fact that I'm a dean of a faculty, and also I hold a PhD in epidemiology, which makes me an epidemiologist, a health-based person. So, you know, when I'm talking about my examples here, you're going to be seeing the educational side, and you're going to see the health side. Now for education, the biggest part of education is knowledge, true or false. One of the reasons why we're suffering in this part of the world is for lack of knowledge and inadequate access to knowledge. There's a saying that I've always heard over the years: if you want to hide anything from a black man, do what? Hide it in the book. Put it in the book. We have to change that narrative. And that's why we're here as beacons. It's one of our primary duties, to be beacons of knowledge. Excellence as a lifestyle. As a beacon, you have no choice but to display excellence, to be excellent at what you're doing, whatever you choose to do. In radiating excellence, we're looking at three key parts. First of all, sorry, man. First of all, we're all parts of families, true or false. Why? The family is the basic unit of a society. If you can be excellent in the basic unit of the society, then it transcends upwards. In your profession too, excellence, setting benchmarks, inspiring others. Note that I used the word inspired. Inspiration. That is a quality of a beacon. What does the beacon do when there's a storm? When you see that beacon, what's the feeling that it brings up in you? Home, hope, the hope that you will get home. That's the inspiration part of it. So if you call yourself a beacon, there's got to be something that you're projecting to people that is supposed to either draw them to you or draw them in the right direction towards where they're supposed to be headed. And also, society. We're supposed to be beacons to the society, contributing to development and leaving a legacy. As a beacon, you must be known for something. Long after you're gone, that for which you are known must remain. And that's the legacy part that we're talking about here. Next slide. Okay. Now, also as a beacon, we're supposed to be committed to humanity. And this is our overall function. It's the reason why we're gathered. It's the reason why we're united. It's the reason why we have a shared vision. It's because of our commitment to humanity. Greatness lies in giving back to others. All the people that you consider great ever, it's because they have not kept to themselves. It's because they're giving back to others. Why do we say Kobe Bryant is the best basketball player to ever have lived? It's not because he played the game. It's because he gave back to the game and the community that he grew up in. Okay, so we can give back to others by engaging in impactful initiatives, such as scholarships. Some of you are already involved in that. Skill acquisition programs, and of course again, community outreaches. Now I want to show you a couple statistics why community outreach is one key part of my presentation. Next slide, please. Health inequalities in Nigeria are significant. Now, I like the definition that the first speaker gave to inequality, but it's a little different. When we're talking about, I mean, the example that you used for equality and equity. So it's a little different in public health. When you talk about equality, you're looking at a situation where people are on the same level, so it's easy to give the resources to everybody across the board. But if you're talking about equity, then you must consider the fact that this person is high and low, and some way find a way to evenly distribute so that it still comes back to equality, public health speaking. So, one of the things that we need to understand as beacons is that poverty and health expenditure in this part of the world is really high. 40% of Nigerians live in poverty. This is a very current statistic. Now, if we have 200 million Nigerians, how much does that come to? Think about it. Estimate 40% of 200 million. That's a crazily staggering figure of people who are living in poverty. And public health wise, when we talk about poverty, we're talking about people who are living on less than $1 a day, or at most under $2 a day. How much is $2 now? Maybe?
3-4.
So we're saying that there are people who on a daily basis live on less than that. And if you live on less than Otumba, if you live on less than that, that means that you can't even afford what? 3 square meals a day. Because what are we doing about that? Sir? Okay. Now, apart from the poverty level, health expenditure is a problem. How many of you are on NHIS here? How many? Well, okay. So, consider the fact that maybe most of us have some type of HMO going on. The problem now is that access to this for most people is non-existent. And that means that we have relatively poorer individuals spending 9 times the amount that we spend to access health. Beacons, again, what are we doing about that? Next slide. Maternal mortality. Nigeria still has one of the highest maternal mortality ratios. Right. Globally, HIV prevalence. We're still the 4th largest population of people living with HIV worldwide. Let's go on. Educational disparities and health outcomes. See, here's the crux of my examples and stories. There's a correlation between low education levels and poor health outcomes, emphasizing the need to address systemic deficiencies in Nigeria's educational sector to improve public health. As beacons, what are we doing about this? Let's move on. This is an explanation of what I just went through. Moving on. So as of May 24, this is the statistics of children, out of school. If we hope to build a better nation, how come we have 18.3 million children out of school? Let's move on. So, there's so much to do. This is an action plan for impact that I developed that we can look at as a club, highlighting some of the areas that I just spoke about now, and we're going to talk about it later. Let's move on, sir. Conclusion: we're united by our commitment to humanity. Each of us has the power to make an impact. Our call to action: commit to at least one impactful initiative this coming year. Club chief, sir, with your kind permission, I'd like for all beacons to stand up, because I'd like us to make a pledge. All beacons, also intended by your permission, sir. Shall we stand up?
All beacons stand up.
You repeat after me. We, the beacons, pledge to unite, illuminate, excel, and remain committed to adding value to humanity. Thank you all.
And with that, I am suggesting that we refer this to the committee of how we go about this impact and how we implement it in the coming year and the years forward.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you can see that.